Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Dyer, and I am the Ambassador at Large for the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons at the U.S. Department of State. First and foremost, I would like to take a moment to congratulate the government of Bolivia as it takes the presidency of the regional platform to combat human trafficking and the illicit smuggling of migrants, and for convening regional counterparts in La Paz to discuss ways to address this crime. Combating human trafficking is an issue of incredible importance to the United States, one that we pursue in partnership with countries throughout the region, and I am tremendously encouraged by this effort. The United States is committed to supporting global efforts to combat human trafficking through the prosecution of traffickers, the protection of victims, and the prevention of this heinous crime. My office leads the U.S. government's global efforts to combat human trafficking, which includes both sex trafficking and forced labor. Around the world, an estimated 27 million people are exploited in human trafficking. Traffickers prey on and profit from some of the most vulnerable and marginalized individuals. Partnerships are critical in combating this terrible crime. Partnerships between nations and within borders, partnerships with civil society and the private sector, and most importantly, partnerships with human trafficking survivors to ensure our efforts are informed by their lived experience. This fight has many challenges, and we need one another to make progress. One of the core responsibilities of my office is producing the annual Trafficking in Persons Report, or TIP report. We rely on input from our embassies and partners around the world to draft the report, which serves as an important resource for governments, civil society, and the private sector in our collective efforts to combat human trafficking. The 2024 TIP report, which we released in June, highlighted some positive global trends. Victim identifications reached their highest number ever recorded, reflecting increased attention and effort to combat trafficking around the world. For the third consecutive year, the global data also demonstrated notable progress on forced labor. As an example of just one data point, forced labor prosecutions increased and forced labor convictions nearly doubled from the year before. And we saw the highest ever reported number of forced labor victims identified. While there was encouraging progress, there are still significant challenges in addressing forced labor. In the Western Hemisphere, in particular, prosecutions and convictions for forced labor lagged behind other regions, with only 168 prosecutions and 77 convictions in the entire region in 2023. 63 of those convictions took place in only 3 countries. And 26 of the 34 countries in the region did not report convicting any labor traffickers. As you discuss ways to counter human trafficking in your countries and the region, I urge you to consider how we might improve efforts to address overlooked forms of human trafficking, particularly forced labor, forced criminality, and forced begging, which disproportionately impact marginalized, underprivileged, and migrant communities. Each of us has a unique role to play, and we need to work together to create a coordinated and comprehensive response. Again, progress depends on partnerships. To succeed, partnerships must be grounded in trust, respect, and understanding between different stakeholders. Partnerships require us to listen to each other and recognize each other's strengths and limitations. And they mean we must recognize the interdependence between us and the communities we serve. If we do that, if we work together, we can make meaningful progress on protection, prosecution, and prevention of human trafficking. This work can feel daunting and insurmountable, but I feel genuinely hopeful because there are ways we can all contribute. When we combine innovative, growing partnerships with increasing awareness at the individual level, we can stay ahead of the perpetrators who are often sophisticated and well-funded. The United States is committed to working with the countries in this region and around the world to combat the scourge of human trafficking. Together, I'm confident we can make progress and hopefully one day eradicate this terrible crime. I am deeply grateful to the Bolivian Ministry of Justice for allowing me to address you today and for your time. I wish all of you a productive meeting. Thank you very much.